I guess I wanted to give I'm sorry, this might go a little long, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. This is very similar to a case that happened in my district recently. This came to us at rate. And let me back up a little. The 10 units can be built on this property right now we don't have a choice. It is zoned a certain way right now. So one of the speakers said, you have a choice here. Why don't you just pick the choice to do nothing? We actually don't have that choice. It is zoned a way right now that allows 10 units. I'm not going to speak to what the applicant, I don't know why, but they came and asked, we want to build more. We want more market rate, all market, nothing affordable, all market. I think the range was 350 to 550. Just trying to be transparent here, because I know a lot of people don't see what happens behind the scenes. When these cases come up, the applicant reaches out to council offices and tells us, this is what we're looking to do in this area. I can only speak to the meeting that I had, and my assumption is it was similar to other council members, but I don't know. I can only speak to the meeting that my staff had. Immediately said, I cannot support market rate condos in this part of Austin that is getting heavily gentrified, even at 350. 350 is a lot. Like all these speakers have voiced, 350 is not affordable for so many in our city right now. My assumption is they had that conversation 10 times and realized there's no way council is going to support this level of this upzoning at this level. There's all this back and forth that happens. Obviously we're not allowed to require anything where it's against the law for us to say, I'll only support it if you do this. We can't do that, right? So it comes back to us in this iteration. They can do 10 now. They can do 10 and it looks like they can do 10 $800,000 homes. And that's scary. It's scary that this could be indefinitely postponed. And instead they will decide they don't need any, I just have to repeat it. They need no approval from council to build 10 units that could probably sell for $80,000. That is the truth of what could happen if we indefinitely postpone this and they decide to not go forward with this. So it's not a question of whether we can build something or not. They can build something right now. For me, it was a question of, can they build something that is all market rate at 800,000, or can they build something that requires some level of affordability? So many times we're given choices on this dais that are incredibly difficult. I was going to go with the choice because that is a choice. We can build $800,000 homes right now without any approval from council. We don't need anything from you. We got the zoning already. Or we can build more affordable units. I would have preferred to pick affordable units, but we're not going to be able, but this is going to be indefinitely postponed because it does not appear there is the amount of support from council to be able to do that. We can't require units at a certain price. We cannot say you can get the zoning and you have to offer those houses at $200,000. It is against state law. I promise you, if I could do that, if we had that power, there would not be a development in East Austin that would not require that every house be $50,000 or $60,000. We can't do it, and it's incredibly frustrating and it's hard to accept, but it is against state law for us to do that. We can't control rent. We can't control it. It's called rent control. It is against state law. Lastly, I want to speak to one of the speakers talked about predatory lending, predatory soliciting, asking people constantly, I'll buy your home, I'll buy your home. That's why we did the Families Not Flippers initiative. And in fact, part of the Families Not Flippers initiative was seeking to educate homeowners to seek an actual, a realtor to know what the real value of their home was, because these people prey on families and lowball them, and families that bought their house, 20 years ago for significantly less think it's a good deal, but their home is actually worth more. And so that it was an educational effort that the city has been working on to make sure families know their rights. But part of that was also going to our state legislature. And I, in fact, talked to 2 of our state legislatures and asked, will you sponsor a bill that puts some kind of prohibition on this kind of predatory asking people to sell their homes constantly, text message. I've gotten text messages, every day in the mail. There was a little bit of interest. Nobody wanted to carry that bill. I will ask again in this next session for one of our local state legislators to carry this bill that prohibits that kind of predatory asking to buy people's homes, because it is really hurting people. But I had to say that. It's so hard because because people are being misled. And when people try to give facts, and I will speak to Councilmember Cassar's office, has simply tried to give facts, and they are attacked in the most awful way for facts. I want to say thank you to the speakers who called and said thank you for wanting to continue to have this conversation in a transparent and honest way. And I have to say again, when council members try to do that, they try to put out facts to explain this incredibly difficult process and the difficult choices we have to make, and the realities of if we do nothing today, and if this project, they can still build 10 units that could be sold at $800,000, and we have no control over that. So I would love for this to be able to make a choice that instead of 10 units at $800,000, it is affordable units, but it doesn't look like we're there. But I hope we can get to a place where we respect truth and facts, especially in this political climate. Here in Austin, Texas, we should be able to have a respect for truth and facts.